So, my dear good students, today as we are continuing with the lesson life process. In the life process, so far still now we have studied about the first life process, nutrition. In the nutrition, till now we have discussed about nutrition in plants. Nutrition in plants we have discussed, then the process of photosynthesis in detail we have studied. Hereafter, studying the photosynthesis, it is a next very important point and a prominent question arising concept. Now we are going to discuss that is the nutrition in animals. As I told you early, that down in my slide I am showing you the nutrition in animals, and apart from that, one more very important question from this concept is nutrition in amoeba. It's a very important question. It may carries a 2 or 3 marks question from this one concept. So let us study now. Amoeba, as you know earlier, amoeba is an unicellular organism. It will do its activities with the help of the single cell. As amoeba is an unicellular organism, it will do all its life processes with the help of single cell itself. So amoeba is having the pseudopodia, means false podia. With the help of this false podia or pseudopodia, at the time of need, amoeba will move from one place to another place. Hence, it is called as locomotory organ of the amoeba. But when you study about the nutrition in case of amoeba, as I told you early only, amoeba is an also comes under the group of holozoic mode of nutrition. Means it is another type of heterotrophic nutrition. In that one holozoic mode nutrition, as I have told you early, amoeba will feed on the food directly, and after feeding or after engulfing the food, then it undergo the process of digestion. After digestion, the final step is as absorption of the nutrients and ejection of the waste from the body as like a human beings. So for now, let us we see now the nutrition mode in amoeba according to the concept. So amoeba, what it will do at the time of nutrition. The very interesting is when the food comes closer to the amoeba, suppose the food comes closer to the amoeba, it extend its finger-like projections of pseudopodia. Means it extend its pseudopodia towards closer to the food particle, and not only extend it, and it engulf, or it will cover up to form food vacuole around it. After forming the food vacuole and take it inside into the cell itself, then it digest that food and absorb the necessary nutrients, and undigested food is then sent out through the surface of the cell. So as you are seeing in the diagram which is given in the slide, you can see very carefully the first A, there is A, B, C, D, 4 steps are given for the nutrition in amoeba. The first stage you can see, in the first stage A, food particles as soon as comes closer to the amoeba, amoeba extend its finger-like projections. In the slide B, in the picture B, you are seeing it completely extends the pseudopodia in a such a way that it covers the food completely. In the third C, that picture, third picture is saying now completely extend the pseudopodia and take it inside the food vacuole. Food vacuole will be inside the cell. Next, in the C step only we can see here, after C there is a D. There we can see the food particles will get digested, absorbed, and slowly undigested food is moving towards the peripheral part of the cell. Then finally it will sent out, or it will remove it from inside the cell, means kick it out the waste from the unwanted waste things. So this is the very simple way, simplified step. First step is, it will, what it will do, ingestion, means it will take the food. Second step, digestion and assimilation of the food, and then afterwards it will go for the step is ejection, means throwing of the waste. So in this way the process of food taking will takes place, or mode of nutrition will takes place in case of amoeba. So this is a very important. With the diagram, if you write, it will carry a 3 marks, and without diagram it may come for 2 marks. Very important for a kind of exams. So let us go now in case of human beings. So nutrition in human beings. As I have early told you, nutrition, the mode of nutrition in the human beings also holozoic mode of nutrition. Human beings also first engulf the food materials, raw food, and then after the raw food or whatever the food has engulfed or taken into the body, it will get digested, and after digestion required nutrients will be absorbed by the body and undigested one will be sent out from the body. So in case of nutrition in the human beings, the very systematically we have a well developed digestive system. So it is a very important for us to study the digestive system of human beings. So nutrition in human beings is also carries with digestion system of human beings in detail. So here in this concept, the diagram is a very important. Two or sometimes it may carry 3 marks question. Systematically draw the digestive system of human beings. Along with that, they may ask the notation of some enzymes. That time it will carry 4 marks. So my dear students, I request everyone that you should practice a lot with this any one diagram. So these diagrams are helpful for to score very more. So let us now study the digestive system or alimentary canal of the human beings. The digestive system is also called as alimentary canal and glands, together called as digestive system. The main organs of our digestive system begins with the mouth and ends with anus or rectum. So we can see one by one, we are going to see all the organs and their uses in detail. The first of all, as we take a food into the mouth, so food enters, it is called as ingestion. The first step in the human beings or the holozoic mode of nutrition is ingestion of the food. So ingestion of the food means taking the food inside the body is called ingestion. In ingestion, how the food will enter into this? The food will enter through the help of mouth. Means through the mouth we will put the. Now let us see the digestive system. The first part, mouth. It's a very important for us to study about the mouth. Okay, now you can see the diagrams in detail. I have given the diagram for the digestive system of human beings. The diagram which is very important for our us. We need to practice a lot of these diagrams. It's helpful for us for the kind of exams. So as I told you, the first diagram starts with mouth. In the mouth, there is the presence of salivary glands, and then salivary glands will help in the digestion of carbohydrates. So then we will go down, there's the presence of tongue. Tongue helps in the mixing of the food thoroughly with and become a formation of bowl. And then we have a epiglottis. Epiglottis is a structure, a small tissue structure, a smallest part which is present in between the windpipe as well as food pipe. What is the use of epiglottis? Epiglottis which helps us the prevent the movement of food into the windpipe or towards the respiratory tract. Now, after that, we'll see esophagus. Esophagus is a tract to connect between the mouth and stomach. In stomach, again there will be a digestion will begin. The remaining 30% of carbohydrates will digest in the stomach. Thereafter, it moves to the next. It moves to the uh, small intestine. Then it moves to the larger intestine. So then larger intestine too, whatever the in small intestine we have finger-like projection will absorb the food nutrients, and then it will leaving behind the unwanted wastes, and unwanted waste will settle down at the small larger intestine. From the larger intestine it will move to the rectum, but in the larger intestine water will be lot of water will be absorbed, and in the rectum unwanted undigested waste is stored, and that will move to out through the anus. So this is an outline I am told you. Now let us go in detail about the human digestive system by the parts. The first part of the digestive system. In the case of human being, the first part of digestive system is the mouth, as I have told earlier. Now, first of all, we should know the what are the different organs of the mouth or different parts of the mouth what we have. So, mouth is not only to speak but is also very helpful for digestion of the food. Now, in case in the mouth, there again three organs are there like tongue, lips, and salivary glands, teeth. So, these are very helpful organs we have inside the mouth. First of all, we study about the teeth. Teeth. So, as usual, the adult man, human being, carries about 32 teeth. So, completely adult will having 32 teeth. That before reaching the complete adultness, almost all till the age of maturity, we can call 28 teeth will be there. After reaching a particular complete maturity of adult stage, will then again we will get the 4 teeth. So each the 32 teeth are there. The 32 teeth again will have the 4 different types of teeth: incisors, canines, molars, premolars. So these each teeth are very helpful for a particular crushing purpose of the food. So as you know, incisors are very helpful for cutting the fruits, and canines are very helpful for eating the or peeling out the flesh like such like substances, and molars and premolars are cutting the larger food particles into the smaller particles. They are helpful. So in this way you know very well basically about the teeth. But first, only one point you should keep is the role of teeth is to crush the larger food particles into smaller. Only the main functioning of the teeth is here. All 4 different types altogether they will do one work, that is crushing of the food. The work of crushing is done by the teeth. Along with the second very important one is tongue. What is the role of the tongue? Tongue is helps us to speak, but along with that helping to speak, tongues is a it will move very freely. Hence, it helps in the thoroughly mixing of the food with saliva, salivary enzyme which is present in our mouth, and also helps in crushing. Means it will not crush exactly, but it will bring the movements to of the food particles in under the crushing of the teeth. In this way, tongue is a very helpful. After that, we can see very important, that is salivary amylase. salivary amylase, it is an enzyme which is produced by the salivary glands, and these salivary glands are present inside our mouth. So there in the three regions we can see that in this diagram I am going to see the three regions. We can see the three red arrow line marks are including that the three different places beneath the lower jaw. Two are there and one more is there, and at the upper nostril side one more is there, and just behind the behind the nostril side there one more big is there. So there are exactly three different places salivary glands are present around the mouth, and these salivary glands will produce the enzyme called salivary amylase enzyme. This enzyme helps in conversion of starch into sugar, means the carbohydrate food it just digest begins here only. So as I have told you, polysaccharides bigger polysaccharide molecules will converts into 30% of them will converts into monosaccharides, means it will breaks 30% of the carbohydrates will digest in the mouth itself, only carbohydrates. Why only carbohydrates? Because there is no digesting enzyme for protein and lipids. Hence, the only carbohydrate food will be digested in the mouth. The remaining 70% will move to stomach, then little bit, and most of the 9% of the digestion will takes place in the small intestine. Let us go to the next part. As after the 30% digested food, we can call it as a bolus, and this bolus will enter to the stomach through what? Esophagus. Through the help of esophagus, the food will enters to the stomach, and how that food will move? The food will move to the stomach through the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the muscles. In the esophagus, there are muscles are present. These muscles will contract and relax. Due to the rhythmic contraction of the muscles, will bring the food from mouth to stomach. But before that only, I have one more point told you. There is a presence of epiglottis after the mouth. Epiglottis is a valve which is present. It is a valve, epiglottic valve which is present in between at the exactly middle of the food as well as windpipe. So what is the role of epiglottis? Epiglottis will prevent the entering of the food into the windpipe. So when windpipe will be closed, then easily the bolus will enter into the esophagus to stomach. But suppose eating, while at the time of eating, talking or laughing or loudly yawning, if you do, then they will taking air inside. That time the food may enter into our windpipe, and it may cause us a damage or big higher cough may come out, that the food should come out from the respiratory. So very thing we have to be very careful. That's why while eating the food we should not talk, we should not laugh, we should not do any entertain, but we should only focus on the food that should be get digested what we are eating. So now let us go to the second very important one, stomach. In the stomach there is a presence of glands. The glands are called as gastric glands, and these gastric glands will produce a gastric juice, and the gastric juice contain the enzyme called pepsin, hydrochloric acid and mucus. First very important role is, the first one is pepsin. We should know about the pepsin. What is the role of pepsin? Pepsin will breaks down proteins. The pepsin is an enzyme which acts on the protein and converts into acids, amino acids. So pepsin will breaks into peptides to acid finally. So in this way, second one very important one is hydrochloric acid. Most of the question will come 2 marks or 1 marks question will arise here. What is the role of hydrochloric acid in the stomach? Very very important. Most of the time they ask the 2 marks question, the role of stomach, role of acid hydrochloric. What is the role of HCl in the stomach? First very important role, hydrochloric acid makes the medium. Hydrochloric acid will makes the it makes the stomach, inside the stomach it makes all the area or all the medium will become acidic. Why it has to become acidic? When it become acidic, then only the action of the pepsin will takes place systematically properly. So to create the acidic medium in stomach, hydrochloric acid is very important. So first it will create the acidic medium. Then after creating, then pepsin will react on the proteinated foods. Then it helps in digestion. Next very important question, what is the role of mucus? Mucus, you already know, most of the time if we not eat food properly, but at the right time, our daily diet timing, the hydrochloric acid will be released into the stomach, and that acidic nature will be developed into the stomach, and it may cause us the effects to a wall of the stomach. So it may cause us, if you continuously avoiding the food for a long time, if you're not taking proper food at the right time, the hydrochloric acid will be released, go on releasing, and it will create make an stomach inside acidic nature. Due to that acidic nature, the walls of the stomach, thin soft walls of the stomach will get react with the acid, and there is a formation of stomach ulcers. Stomach ulcer will lead to severe damage. So be careful, my dear students, before should not go such time situation. At the right time we should eat food, and a very important food, we should drink lot of water. If you drink a lot of water, then though if you are not eating food, if you drink water or drink some light alkaline juices, then it will prevent, it will what it will do, it will converts that highly concentrated to dilute. So that's why you can save our stomach or get some stomach problem, get away from the stomach problems. So this is the this one. Next very important one is mucus. Mucus protects the wall of the stomach from the action of acids. The mucus which is produced here, that is very helpful for us to prevent the wall of the stomach from the action of the acids. Then from here food will pass us to the small intestine. So let's see now a small intestine itself. There you can carry two parts. This called, in the upper part of the small intestine called duodenum. It's called as duodenum. The food is mixed with bile. Very one more very important. What is the role of bile? Very important. What is the role of bile? So we, from where it is released, such type of the very 1 mark question will arise. The bile is released from liver, and bile is a release from liver. Liver is the one of the biggest gland which will produce bile juice, and this bile juice is produced, and pancreatic juice is produced from pancreas. So bile juice will act on lipids, will act on lipids, and pancreatic juice will act on the all such type of the things like trypsin as well as lipase. So very important one is, two questions will arise. What is the role of bile juice? Very important. First, what the bile juice will do, that we are going to see now. As soon as the food will enters into the small intestine, the upper part called as duodenum, soon only itself bile juice is released from the liver, the biggest gland, and that bile juice will act on the fats, which acts on the fats. Fats are always higher, bigger, complex globules, very bigger, complex molecules, and acts on the fatty chains, and break them into smaller globules to make easy for the digestion by the pancreatic juice. Now one role is, bile juice first breaks the fats into smaller globules. Then after breaking itself, then only pancreatic juice will act upon the such smaller oily or fatty acid globules or balls, and then with the help of the enzyme trypsin and lipase. So, by the help of lipase enzyme, it will digest the fat. By the help of trypsin, it will digest the protein. In this way, the role of pancreatic juice and bile juice is very, very important in the digestion of food. So, as soon as food will breaks and enters into the lower part of the small intestine, the glands, the wall of the small intestine produce intestinal juice. So next very important point, in the lower part of the small intestine, that is intestinal juice is released. The enzymes of the intestinal juice will convert carbohydrates into glucose, fats into fatty acids, and glycerols and proteins into amino acids. The walls of small intestine has a several finger-like projections called villi and having blood vessels. The villi are nothing but finger-like projection. This is also one marks question. What is the role of villi? Villi is the villi is villi are the finger-like projections which are present in the small intestine, helps in the absorption of the food which is digested by the small intestine because they have a blood vessels. So next very important thing is another role is of the villi is it helps in increasing the surface area for the absorption of the digested food. So there are two important role of villi in the stomach which were present. This is also 2 marks question will arise from this concept. The digested food is absorbed by the blood and transported to the cell in the body. Then undigested food passes will to the large intestine. In the largest, what is the what happens in the large intestine is the undigested food will be moved to the large intestine. After moving, the lot of amount 90% of the food, undigested food, is containing the water content. Hence, all the 99% of the water content is completely reabsorbed by the large intestine and only leaving behind the fetus means waste undigested material is removed and that will stored in the rectum and finally comes out through the help of anus. So this is the digestive system of human beings. So my dear good student, I think so it is enough for you to understand. So far we have now studied the digestion or nutrition in the amoeba as well as we have studied the nutrition in the human beings. So it is a very systematically we should practice, and these two concepts are very important for the point of exam. So you need to focus. 1 marks 2 marks questions will arise, and diagram is very important. Go through this all. May God bless you. Thank you very much. If you have doubts or any doubts, you can call me, contact me personally. And if you really are blessed with this lessons concept, you just to share these lessons to your friends. They should also study it well systematically and be benefited. And I request you one thing. After learning this, if you like these lessons, then subscribe to our channels, and that will help you to get more information upcoming lessons for your study and make you successful for the point of exam. Thank you very much.